Live, local, now. WMBF starts with breaking news.
Today, this task force can confidently and without hesitation answer the rest of those questions along with the who is responsible.
Closure for a family searching for answers in the disappearance of their daughter and sister from Myrtle Beach more than a decade ago.
Really a mother's worst nightmare. I am mourning my beautiful daughter, Brittany, as I have been for 13 years. But today, it's bittersweet.
The one-time person of interest in the Brittany Drexel case, now charged with her kidnapping and murder.
Today marks the beginning of a new chapter. The search for Brittany is now a pursuit of Brittany's justice.
Tonight, the remains of Brittany Drexel are back with her family. We've been giving you updates on this breaking news since last week. The Georgetown County Sheriff's Office made that announcement earlier this afternoon. Sheriff Harter Weaver was joined by a number of officials, including Myrtle Beach Police Chief Amy Prock and Solicitor Jimmy Richardson, along with Drexel's parents. Zach Wilcox, Ashley Bowles, and Eric Richards. They were all at that news conference. They bring us team coverage tonight. We're going to begin with Zach. And Zach, 13 years of searching has come to a close. So how did investigators find Drexel's body?
It's the bittersweet answer that the Drexel family has been waiting day after day, searching for, looking for, waiting for the past 13 years. 15th Circuit Solicitor Jimmy Richardson says that the remains that were found in Georgetown County were cross-referenced with DNA and dental records to prove that it was, in fact, Brittany Drexel. Georgetown County Sheriff Harter Weaver says Drexel's body was found by the FBI last Wednesday here in Georgetown County, more than 30 miles away from where she was last seen in Myrtle Beach. Raymond Moody was arrested and charged with murder, kidnapping, and criminal sexual conduct. He is already behind bars on account of obstruction of justice. He's now being held without bond. The task force of FBI agents, sheriff's deputies, and Brittany's family have worked for 13 years to try to find the what, the where, the how, and the why behind Brittany's disappearance. And they answered a lot of those questions today, although Sheriff Weaver admits we may never know the why, but those answers should at least give the family some closure. And closure for Myrtle Beach Police Chief Amy Prock, who's been on this case since day one.
It's not final chapter we had been hoping for. Every police officer has that one case that frequents their every waking thought.
Law enforcement was in the press conference from SLED, the FBI, Myrtle Beach Police, Georgetown County Sheriff's Office, a whole collection of law enforcement officers. But even more than that, WMBF's Ashley Bowles continues this team coverage. Ashley, beyond law enforcement, there were a lot of people in that room anxious to hear what happened to Brittany.
The room was packed not only with law enforcement officials, but also with friends and family members of Brittany Drexel. Now, while Brittany's mom, Dawn, is not doing one-on-one interviews right now, WMBF News was the first news outlet to be able to speak one-on-one with Solicitor Jimmy Richardson. And Richardson confirmed many details for us. We want to go over those details now. He was able to confirm that not only was Drexel's body found in the Harmony Township neighborhood, it was found 4 feet in the ground. Richardson also confirmed to us that Raymond Moody turned himself in at his lawyer's office and that everything regarding Brittany, her kidnapping, her rape, killing, and burial all happened between April 25th and April 26th in Georgetown County.
I mean, it was really quick as they went into today, and it wasn't, it was hours, it wasn't days. It was the entire process was a series of hours from the time that she went missing until she was buried.
Earlier this afternoon, we received the arrest warrants for Moody's additional charges, including kidnapping, rape, and murder. We're still working through all of those documents right now, but we do know that Brittany was strangled. In Myrtle Beach, Ashley Bowles, WMBF News.
In addition to all the law enforcement officers in the room today, Brittany's family was also there. They had held out hope for more than a decade that Brittany would come home. WMBF News reporter Eric Richards spoke with a family friend about how Brittany's mother and father are doing after getting this news.
Yeah, Eric, this is the news that Brittany's family has been dreading for 13 years, but at least now they can have some answers. As officials release details about the investigation and the charges against Raymond Moody, which include rape and murder, Brittany's family stood in silence. The announcement is not what they wanted to hear, as they have held out hope that Brittany would be found alive after all these years. A close friend to the family was also at the news conference to show support to the family, which is grieving tonight.
They're holding up. You know, it's like Dawn said, it's bittersweet. We're happy, but we're sad at the same time. I always kept a little bit of hope, like a mustard seed of faith, to maybe she would be found, like a lot of women come out after being locked up for 10 years.
The next step for the family is planning a celebration of life for Brittany, both in Myrtle Beach and in upstate New York, as they again continue to grieve tonight. Live here outside of the Georgetown Courthouse, County Courthouse, I should say, Eric Richards, WMBF News.
All right, Eric, and Drexel, who is originally from New York, was last seen just before 9 o'clock at night, April 25th of 2009, in front of the Blue Water Resort on Ocean Boulevard in Myrtle Beach. That was during a spring break trip. Surveillance video capturing her leaving the resort that Saturday night. She was 17 years old at the time. Investigators pinged Drexel's cell phone to Surfside Beach around 40 minutes later. That's about 6 miles from the Blue Water Resort. Her phone pinged again just before midnight, close to where Georgetown County meets Charleston County. That's now 46 miles from the Blue Water Resort. The area where investigators last pinged Brittany's phone is around 11 miles or a 15-minute drive from the spot investigators found her remains in the woods last week in the Harmony Township area. Authorities confirming the remains as Drexel's through dental records and DNA. The Georgetown County Sheriff says Raymond Moody, buried Drexel, who was already dead the day after her disappearance. Authorities originally named Moody as a person of interest in Drexel's disappearance back in 2012, but he was never arrested in the case until almost 2 weeks ago. Sheriff's office says Moody is a registered sex offender stemming from a 1983 conviction. Right now on WMBFnews.com, we have more coverage of Drexel's disappearance, really from start to finish. You can find the full news conference and a timeline of events over these past 13 years. Just download the WMBF News app. You can do so by scanning the QR code that you see right there on your screen. And in other breaking news for you tonight, the trial of Stephen Flood started today. Flood is the former Horry County deputy charged in the deaths of mental health patients Nicolette Green and Wendy Newton. Patrick Lloyd has covered this case since the day it happened nearly 4 years ago. He joins us now from Marion County with a recap of day one of the trial.
Well, Stephen Flood and Joshua Bishop are not being tried together. Instead, they're being tried separately, with the first of their trials starting today. And that trial, of course, is the trial of Stephen Flood. Today, 3 witnesses took the stand after opening statements. All 3 of those witnesses are employees of the Horry County Sheriff's Office who testified they all met with Flood and Bishop prior to the van ride to talk about which route they would take. They also testified Flood and Bishop did not end up taking the approved route, which was free of flood water. Now, the witness list in this case is lengthy, so this trial is expected to last a few more days. And of course, we will be here to bring you updates on it throughout the entirety of the trial. Reporting in Marion County, Patrick Lloyd, WMBF News.
Yeah, as Patrick said, we're also bringing you continuing coverage on this trial from gavel to gavel. Patrick, following this case for you, make sure you've set up to receive notifications through your WMBF News app. An easy way for you to get alerts sent straight to your phone on this trial, plus our other big stories of the day. You can also download the app on your favorite streaming devices like Fire TV and Roku.
Live, local, now. WMBF starts with breaking news.
First at 4, breaking news we've been following for you all afternoon since a woman's body was found behind a firehouse. Only now know her name. This just came in moments ago. Our Cameron Crowe is on that scene now. That scene is the Hannah-Salem Friendfield Fire District in Pamplico. That's where her body was found earlier today. And Cameron, minutes ago, you just found out who this woman is.
Yeah, Meredith, we just found out from Florence County Coroner Keith Von Luchten that the body that was found here earlier this morning was the woman who was reported missing in Myrtle Beach over the weekend. That woman is 21-year-old Sheridan Wall. The county coroner says Wall was found here earlier this morning. When I arrived on the scene, the area was roped off with crime scene tape as SLED investigators in the county coroner's office were investigating the scene. Most of their activity appeared to center around the fire training building you see behind me. The coroner says an autopsy will be done at MUSC later this week. The fire station has been fairly quiet since earlier this afternoon. Reporting live in Florence County, I'm Cameron Crowe, WMBF News.
All right, and Cameron on that story for us all afternoon. Again, the ID of the woman whose body was found at the Pamplico area just came in. She is 21-year-old Sheridan Wall. It's that woman that was reported missing Sunday out of Myrtle Beach. Now, here is a map of the distance of where she was found in Hannah-Salem, the area here, 45 miles to the beach, the area where she was last seen in Myrtle Beach. That's where our Zach Wilcox is now. He has also been following this story today. He is at the spot where she was last seen Sunday, again in Myrtle Beach. So, Zach, this isn't the news we wanted to hear today, but where are you and what can you share with us?
Right, Meredith, a very bleak day here on Ocean Boulevard. Of course, I've been out here for several hours asking anybody who passed by this location to see if they knew anything about Sheridan Wall. I talked with several businesses nearby to see if they had seen her in the past few days, and of course now this is just in the past few minutes turned into a death investigation. Now I'm here at the superstore, the Rent Me Superstore, where she was last seen. She was attempting to rent, according to a police report that we have from Myrtle Beach Police, she was attempting to rent a scooter while she was here, and she was turned down service because she was not wearing shoes. So I checked in with the Superstore today to see if maybe they could tell me a little bit more about that interaction. Unfortunately, they have been closed since I got here a few hours ago. They have the gates pulled down, and I tried to call a number for an on-call manager, and that manager wasn't available, or I wasn't able to get connected with them either. So I checked in with several other businesses. Of course, they all wanted to help. They all talked about having surveillance cameras, but they weren't necessarily pointed in this direction. And that was, of course, before we found out the news that this has now turned into a death investigation. So really an unfortunate day. According to that police report, Sheridan was on the way to Myrtle Beach from Tampa to visit her father, and according to that police report, she never made it to her father. She FaceTimed her mother after coming to the Rent Me Superstore to talk to her about that interaction that she had where she did not receive that scooter, told her that she would be driving home, and according to that police report, her mom said, don't try to drive home, that's such a far distance, just stay the night and we'll figure it out. So of course now we are just a lot of questions left in this investigation, and right now I haven't been able to really receive any answers here at the Rent Me Superstore. In Myrtle Beach, Zach Wilcox, WMBF News.
And we'll continue to update you on this breaking news story as we continue to learn more as more information comes into our newsroom. All right, switching gears now. The majority of our area is under a flash flood watch right now, and we are expecting more heavy rain on the way. Of course, our First Alert Chief Meteorologist Jamie Arnold is on this story for us. Jamie, a ton of rain last night.
Yeah, it was coming down in buckets late last night and early this morning. We just got word from the National Weather Service. Going to keep that flash flood watch in place through the night tonight. The ground pretty much saturated now, so additional rainfall could lead to some problems. Let's show you that flash flood watch, and it's basically for areas east of I-95. That does include all of Horry County, and the Grand Strand does include the city of Florence, Marion, King Street, Conway, and down into Georgetown. And again, that's in effect through 9 a.m. tomorrow morning. Now, especially the beaches, catching a little bit of a break from that rainfall so far the past couple of hours, but interior Horry County, Marion County, Dillon County, into Robeson, Scotland, and Marlborough counties still dealing with some of those spotty downpours, but the big time troublemaking rainfall has shifted just to our north here across the Wilmington area. Some spots there picking up close to 6 inches of rain just over the past couple of hours. However, for us, look what's lingering out here over the Atlantic Ocean, that steady stream of tropical moisture. And with that kind of pointed in our direction overnight tonight into the day tomorrow, that potential does exist for some more rounds of locally heavy rainfall. Future radar kind of picking up on that trend right now with a bit of a break in Horry County. Heavy rain just across the border, but watch what happens overnight tonight and again towards daybreak tomorrow morning. We may see some of that heavier rain beginning to break out through the morning commute, perhaps lingering as we head through the lunchtime hours. Any one of those downpours could produce some locally torrential rainfall, and even heading into tomorrow afternoon. While there will be breaks like today, where it is raining, some of that rain is likely to be coming down heavily at times. So we'll see that forecast for hit or miss downpours heading through the day tomorrow. Temperatures climbing their way into the lower 80s. I'll have the rest of your full forecast coming up.
Live, local, now. WMBF starts with breaking news.
Good evening to you. It is 11 o'clock. I'm Eric Weisfeld.
And I'm Rachel Bogle. We begin tonight with a pair of breaking stories. Right now we have a crew at the scene of a fire that is now under control that damaged 4 homes in Myrtle Beach.
But first, authorities are reporting no injuries in an off-campus shooting that prompted Coastal Carolina University to issue a shelter-in-place order.
That alert from CCU said there was a report of shots fired around 8:30 at the Carolina Pines apartment complex. Horry County police say no one was hurt in that shooting on Carolina Road, but there was property damaged at the scene. There's no threat to campus at this point. Horry County police are continuing to investigate, and we will update you as soon as we learn more.
All right. What can you tell us? Yeah, so the latest update we're able to share is that the fire is now under control. The good news is there are no reported injuries.
And more breaking news within the last several hours. Horry County Fire Rescue crews say they have contained a 3-alarm fire that seriously damaged 4 townhome-style units.
It began around 6:30 on Arezzo Way.
WMBF's Eric Richard joins us live now from the scene.
Hey, Eric, so you've been out there for quite a while now. What have you learned so far from those that are living nearby?
Well, I'll tell you what, good evening to both of you, and it was an intense firefight this afternoon. Let's get right to the video. Let's show you what we're talking about here. We were live and first here on the scene this afternoon as Horry County Fire Rescue says that they received the call about the multi-unit fire around 6:42 in the 800 block of Arezzo Way, and when they arrived on scene, they found the 4 units had heavy smoke and flames coming, and they upgraded that fire to a 3-alarm. Multiple agencies responded, and around 9 p.m. tonight, the fire was deemed under control. Now, there was heavy rain, thunder, and lightning at the time, but we still don't know the exact cause of this fire. Maureen LaFountain lives nearby, and she says that a Good Samaritan saw the fire and stopped to help.
I'm the one who actually was sitting next door in his backyard having supper. It hit the back of that home right next to him, and a car was driving behind there. Had he not come around and started banging on the doors that there was a fire, this could have been that much worse.
Horry County Fire Rescue says that 8 adults were displaced due to this fire. They're being assisted by the American Red Cross, who's on scene here. We still, again, don't know the exact cause of this fire, and fire crews will continue to remain on scene throughout the night to make sure that there aren't any flare-ups and to continue their investigation. That is the very latest now from Horry County. Eric Richards, WMBF News.
Our certified most accurate weather team says there were about 100 reported lightning strikes in Horry County 10 minutes prior to that fire starting.
And you can see the lightning strike captured here from our viewer Lily Tomczyk when those storms rolled through. Really just incredible. There you can see all the way down. And then we also had another photo sent to us as well that also came through showing some of the lightning that folks were dealing with today.
And we should point out that while it was an active evening, First Alert meteorologist Robert Whitehurst tells us the rain is long gone, the clear skies are back, and your certified most accurate forecast. Good to hear, Robert.
Yeah, seeing some improvements here this evening. And the good news, we don't need the lightning, we needed the rain. And that's what a good chunk of Horry County from Conway back to the Grand Strand saw. Just about everybody in the yellow and orange between 1 to 2 inches of rain today. The heaviest rain totals near CSU back through Conway up through here in the river areas. Waccamaw River back up through Long, so upwards of 1 to 2 inches of rain. Less than an inch along the Grand Strand, but still some needed rain. Quickly coming to an end. Just some light showers now through areas through Darlington County, and all of this winding down. A nice drop in humidity tomorrow. Clear skies tomorrow morning. A little cooler to start the day. With the drier air in place, we drop into the 50s right around sunrise. Full sunshine through the day. It's a big improvement as we head through Wednesday, but with those northerly winds, instead of that 89 we had earlier today in Florence, 75. We'll keep the 70s along the Grand Strand. Bit of a drop now, sunny for now, but the rain chances unfortunately ramping back up as we head into the weekend. I'll have an early look at your weekend forecast coming up.